Oh, okay, sweet.
All right. Do a little recognition here quick, and then we'll jump into 5 skills. All right. Okay. So Success Club 10. What is today? Today's the 29th. So tomorrow's the last day of the month. So we got at 10, we got Nicole Gant, Brooke Reed, Marie Sardelli, Sydney Thompson, Destiny Melendez, Kate Teft, Cassie Jackson, Michelle Cahill, Kayla Johnson, Heather Green, Kate Schultz, Megan Jones, Ashley Feld Dyson, and Bailey Glanzer. And then let's see, for the team cycles. So the leaders that had team cycles last week, we got Sue Sardelli, Ariel Green, Carrie Stillman Schmidt, Second Business Center, Samantha Benko, Brian Ream, Joe Policino, Kelly Marks, Susie Bell, Jennifer Majeski, Sydney Thompson, Kim Roberts, Michelle Katz, Ali Zembel, Marie Ottaway, Second Business Center, Amy Eckert, Second Business Center, Lauren Kellum, Eric Connor, Rachel Hansen, Tiffany Marin, Caroline Nathan, Lindsay Elena, Robert Rodriguez, Chris Bachlet, Anne-Marie Kellen, Kelsey Connor, Kate Teft, my Third Business Center, Megan Wortham, Kate Schultz, Second Business Center, Bailey Glanzer, Terry Bachlet, Danielle Ream, Ashley Feldyson, Second Business Center, Brooke Reed, Chuck Wallace, Carrie Stillman Schmidt, Megan Jones, Marie Ottaway, Gage Eckert, Michelle Cahill, Tyler Smith, Shauna Valenta, Cassie Jackson, Curtis Schultz, Amy Eckert, Sydney Thompson, my Second Business Center, Kate Schultz, Michelle Phillips, Ashley Feldyson, Andrea Wallace, Beth Reelman, and myself. All right. So that is Success Club. And then that second part of the recognition is the team cycles for the leaders that are starting to kind of create a team of their own and start to develop leaders of their own as well. So in order to do that, in order to kind of hit Success Club and then eventually teach your coaches how to start to gain clients and you start to build that team and that team volume and earn those team cycle bonuses, we got to learn how to master the simple skills. And we kind of like broke it down into like 5 skills. And the BAT, the business activity tracker, does a great job of kind of like breaking out all the different simple skills that we want to learn as coaches and teach our coaches. But I asked Celine to hop on here because she does a great job of her new coach trainings, like getting her new coaches comfortable with, hey, like, I think a lot of times new coaches get a little overwhelmed and they think they're missing something. They look over here, this coach is doing something, this coach over here is doing something else. And then they never take that first step. And if we can get our coaches to understand that, hey, like if you just master these 5 skills, you're going to start to build some traction in your business and you don't have to look around and feel like you're missing something. Just focus on these 5 skills. The business activity tracker lays those 5 skills out. Then I think new coaches start to kind of like be able to take a deep breath, feel like they're not missing anything, and they can just focus on getting better at those 5 skills, just like anything else. So we're going to kind of touch on the skills, those 5 skills. I'm going to let Celine take this over. And honestly, these are really the only 2 things I ever teach coaches are the mindset and then these 5 skills. And that's really all I've ever tried to teach for the last decade. And it seems to work. I think coaches are just really good at overcomplicating this business. And once we can just keep coming back to these like simple things of like that big picture mindset and these 5 skills, coaches start to gain that traction. So Celine, I'm going to let you hop on here and let's crush these 5 skills, and I can kind of like hop in here and there. And I know a lot of these people are going to be watching the recording, so you guys can leave comments and questions like on the YouTube video or on the actual like thread in the Facebook groups. But Celine, all you.
Okay, yeah, and I love that you said that it's like the mindset first and then the 5 skills, because in the last 4 years that I've been coaching, that is what it comes down to. And when you don't have the mindset first, the 5 skills cannot be mastered because you don't have the belief and anything else yet. So that's really where it starts. So if you haven't mastered the mindset and belief, start there because you're going to need that to even be able to get into the 5 skills. And so because the 5 skills start with social media, I'm going to go ahead and preface this because I am who I am. I have to. If you look at my social media right now, I haven't posted in 2 months. I took a social media break. And so I'm literally preaching from experience and what I know works because I have for 4 years been so consistent with social media. So do as I say, not as I do type of thing right now. Just got to put that out there for my integrity. Okay. So, and then before going into social media, because it is like the first and the most important skill, because social media is where you share everything. It's where people get to know what you're doing. They get inspired. They want to know more about it. They want to join you. Like where all of the things start to happen is social media. But before social media comes being committed to your journey, because social media, inviting, doing all the reach outs, everything else is organic and authentic when you're consistent in your journey and you're getting results. So if you're not committed to your workout program, to your nutrition program, to reading, personal development, just to your own self-development and your own growth and your own results, physically, mentally, emotionally, until you're consistent with that, everything else is going to seem so hard because it's going to seem forced. Posting on social media, finding something to talk about, finding something inspiring to say, talking on your stories, inviting other people to join you is going to feel forced and it's going to feel uncomfortable because it's not authentic. It's not coming from that place of, this is what I'm so excited about and this is what I've been doing and this is the results that I'm getting. So like, I really want to share it with you. So before anything, be committed to your journey. Find a workout program you love. Commit to one of the nutrition programs. Please, for the love of God and everything holy, read personal development and grow yourself. And start there. Okay. And then, so social media. Again, that is where, like, that's where people get to know the proof. Like, your first vital behavior is proof of product. The proof is in the sharing. It's letting people know that I'm waking up every single day. I'm committed to a workout program. I'm following this nutrition program. I'm making all these healthier choices. It's like allowing people to see what you're doing every single day that's bringing you results in your physical and your mental health. And so social media does not have to be that hard. And circle back to what Pat said at the beginning of staying in your own lane. Like as coaches, and especially like new coaches, you come in and there's all of these other coaches on your team. There's like the top coaches in the network and you're looking at all them and you're following all their social media and you think that there's this one way or this right way to post or things that you're supposed to say or that your journey is supposed to look like someone else. It's not. Like people know when you're forcing a personality. People know when you're forcing something to say. Like you have to just be yourself. And that's the number one thing that I think has brought me any success in my business was just being myself and being consistent every single day to share whatever it was. It was different every single day because everything was different every single day. And like in the very beginning, if you're new, this is the easiest time for you to get people interested in what you're doing because you're so excited. Like all of this stuff is happening for the first time. Like your mindset is changing, your body is changing, you're learning how to cook, you're learning healthier recipes to eat, you're a part of this incredible community, your friends. Like for me, I didn't have like a giant like weight loss goal or anything like that. So again, like your journey is your journey and people are going to follow you and join you for a different reason that they're going to follow and join Pat or anybody else. So stay in your lane and focus on what's authentic to you that you want to share. Like the reason that you're here, the reason that you joined, you know, a challenge group and started a program, joined coaching, like all of those things are going to be the same reason you are going to want to join, you know, like they're going to relate to you, not to other people. So just stay in your lane and share that. For me personally, my biggest shift was my mindset and my emotional health, going from anxious and depressed to like positive Polly and finding joy in life. That was my showing people how to be positive and to take like hardships in life and find the silver lining. Like that was my thing. Like that's what changed the most for me. And obviously that happened through exercise, through nutrition, through being a part of this community and self-development and all that. So I share all of it because it all goes hand in hand. It says my connection is unstable. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. If it cuts out, just let me know. But anyway, so
It cuts out, it's like cuts out just a tiny for like a second, like here and there, but we can tell what you're saying.
Okay, cool. So anyways, yeah, just share what's authentic to you and like just be real. Like be who you are and then be consistent. Like you have to make sure that you're showing up every single day. And if not in your posts, like things have changed so much over the years with, you know, how to post and how much to post. And like I remember when I first started 4 years ago, like you wanted to post like 3 times a day. We're not doing that. Like, you know, and sometimes I don't even make one real post on like one like real post to my feed, but always active in your stories. Like people are watching stories all the time and they'll probably like, I have more story watchers than likes on my posts. So for me, people are engaging more in my stories and watching my stories maybe more than they're reading a caption or like reading on my post. So you do want to make sure that you're still posting on your feed so that people can see you there. And obviously when they go to your page, people can know what you're about. Like if you have new followers and stuff like that, they know what you're about by, you know, seeing your feed when they go to your page. So make sure you're posting there, but definitely stay consistent in your stories and throughout the day in your stories. And obviously you want to share the health and fitness, you want to share your workout, you want to share your nutrition, you want to share all of those things, but just share your real life too. That was something for me that people would tell me, and the feedback that I would get is that I was just a real person. And I've actually like run into people that like followed me on social media that I didn't know, like in real life, that felt comfortable enough to come up to me because they feel like we're friends. Like I share so much of my life and like my personality, like I talk, and exactly how you see me right here, exactly how you see me on social media is how you'll see me in person. Like I am the same exact way. And so people literally feel like they know you. They know your dog's name, they know your kid's name, you know, things like that. So don't just share like Celine, the Beachbody coach, share like Celine, the person, the passion, the hobbies, and things like that, because people are going to relate to those other things that maybe you're sharing and then later find out like, oh, like she's a coach or she does this, you know, challenge group, or you know, she runs this business that she can help me with. And so make sure that you're sharing like other things that make you too, and make sure you're engaging with people on your social media as well. There's a ton of ways to do this in your stories, you know, using the question box, using the poll options and stuff like that, but also when people are commenting on your post or they're responding to your stories, making sure you're not just like double tapping or like hearting it, like engage with them and talk to them and create those relationships on that front end, like in your posts and in your stories too. That way you have that relationship when you go to do the back end stuff. So that'll kind of, I guess, bring me into the next skill, which are reach outs. I'm like looking just to make sure.
Yeah, like, so like, I think that the like biggest thing about like sharing on social media is like, and every coach goes through periods of it feels like a struggle to share on social media. And then other times it's like, you can't help but want to share. It's like, you just are pulled to share. And that goes back to what you said, Celine, is like, how like invested and in love with your own journey are you right now? And falling in love with your journey is like something that you're going to have to do over and over and over again. It's not like something that you're just going to like hit your stride and it's going to be like that forever. It's every successful coach goes through ups and downs where they got to like tweak things to kind of fall in love with their journey. And then you tend to just naturally want to share when things are kind of clicking for you, and you just can't help but want to share. So if I'm ever struggling with like sharing on social media, a lot of times it's like, man, the PD I'm doing like isn't right for me, or I'm not doing PD. And as soon as I like find a PD book or a workout program that like speaks to me, then I'm like pulled and drawn to share more often. But yeah, that leads right into that second thing is like, all right, if that's like just who you are as a person, you're someone that wants to grow and you're someone that feels like a better version of yourself when you're showing up for your PD and your workouts, then the sharing becomes a little easier. And then I think that second skill of like connecting with people and reconnecting with old friends, a lot of coaches skip and they jump right into cold invites, which is the third skill, invites and follow-ups. But I think that second skill of like really connecting with people, like you said, like not just giving a heart or like like actually really connecting and reconnecting with old friends before you jump into the invite, I think is pretty vital.
Yeah, it is. And that was another thing, like from the beginning. So I was like the golden unicorn, right? Like we all look for, like you sign up and or you have like a coach sign up and you tell them what to do and you just want them to do it and run. Like I was that coach. Like my coach literally was like, you're going to post every day on social media. You're going to like reach out and you're going to do all this. And I did it. And when I first started, we were like on Facebook the majority of the time. Then Instagram, you know, kind of took off, and like, that's where we all pretty much work our businesses for the most part now. But I remember on Facebook, cause you don't have all these followers yet. I still don't think I have that many followers. Like I have under 3,000 followers. So it's not about that. Can we also just like with social media, please leave the followers, the algorithms, like who gives a fuck like about all that stuff? Like that's another thing that people think is such a big deal and that they need all this stuff and you don't. But anyway, so I had to connect with the people that were already in my life and in my market. And it's so funny because so many times like we're so scared of like those people, but they're the easiest to reach out to because they know you. So you already have some level of trust because they actually know who you are. You're not just some random person on the internet that they have to get to know and form trust with. Like they either went to high school with you, college, worked with you, like something, like they know you in real life. And so I literally just started connecting with all of my old friends. Like right off the bat, I just connected and I was like, hey, how are you? Like, what's up? And mind you, again, these reach outs are going to be easier when you're posting on social media and you're sharing because they see you. So automatically these people had seen that I was sharing workout clips and I was sharing my results and all this new stuff that I was doing that was making me feel good. I was sharing all of that every single day on my social media. And so people were able to see that. And as soon as I even connected and was like, hey, like, what's up? How have you been or whatever? They immediately were like, oh, like, you know, whatever. And it's like, I've been seeing you post this, this, and that. And it was so easy to organically form an invite, or they were already asking me like, what made you get into that? Or how did you get started with that? So connecting is so important, like as a new coach in that way, like once you're posting and everything like that, just send those connections, just catch up with people. If you're making new connections from, oh, hold on one second, Ranger's gonna flip. Come here. I can never get through a whole call without that happening. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, and then new connections with new followers. So obviously then you kind of run out of your warm market, people that you already know, and you have to start growing your following and things like that. But I never found success in this, and I never liked doing it either. It never felt comfortable to just cold invite people. Like when you get new followers and then you're just like, here's an invite to my challenge group or to coaching or whatever. I've never really liked that. Like I like to connect with people first, and it could be anything, like just saying like, hey, thank you for following, you know, my little journey on here. You know, I don't even know like my exact connection, but it's very simple. It's not this drawn out thing. It's just like, hey, thank you for following me. Excited to connect, you know, whatever. And then they'll like respond and we talk that way. Or, you know, I'll go to their page and maybe comment on their posts, or if they have stories, you know, I'll connect with something on their stories. Like most of the time, the people that I'm following that are following me, we have things in common. Like we're sharing like spiritual quotes and like stuff on our stories. So I can like actually connect with them on stuff like that. And so like, just go connect with people and form that relationship first. Have a conversation about something completely off topic. Then it'll feel so much more comfortable when you go to invite them. And the key in all your reach outs, connections, inviting, following up is to just keep it simple. Keep it simple and speak as if you were speaking to someone right in your face. So that it doesn't sound scripted. It doesn't sound like you're a robot or that you're someone just trying to make a sale or whatever. Like that's what we fear most of the time when we're reaching out to people, that we sound scripted or that, you know, they're going to think that we just want to sell them something. Don't speak that way. Like literally pretend somebody like walked up to you in your face. How would you talk to them? You know, like I would never be like, hello, Patrick, how are you? No, like I'd be like, hey, what's up? You know, and like speak as if you were speaking to your best friend or how you would speak to someone in person, and just keep it simple. Thank you for following me. I'm excited to connect with you. You know, whatever it is. Or you can like ask them about themselves. Like this is what I'm about. Like, what are you about? So that's as far as like connections. I don't know if you want to say something about connections, Pat.
No, yeah, I think, just being like a human being, you know, I think is like the most important thing. Like for some reason, when we go into like this, we like forget how to be a human.
Yeah.
You become like a script or like a robot or something. And that's not going to work. So yeah. And then that, I think those like natural, just being yourself type of connections leads into the invite. It's like more natural, that third skill of invites. And I would say like with that second skill of connecting, like I found it's really helpful to like connect with obviously old like friends, people that you know in person, but also like connecting with people that you have like things in common with, makes the conversation and the connection so much easier. So whether that's like just that you have in common that you live in the same city, you know, that just gives you things to talk about, or same hobbies, volleyball or whatever it is. It just makes that conversation flow and it's not as forced. So like finding, you know, geotags on Instagram to start following people that way, or tagging, you know, locations while you're doing your stories, then those show up like on that city story, and then people see you and can start following you that way. And finding like Facebook groups, you know, like joining a Houston volleyball Facebook group is a great way to like start to connect with people that you have things in common with. Yeah. And then, then the inviting is just like, hey, like it's almost like that inviting is then like, hey, I'm throwing a party on Friday night. Just wanted to let you know that, you know, you're more than welcome to show up. I'd love it if you could make it, is kind of how I invite to my challenge groups then, which is that Thursday.
Yeah. And that's always been the key too, is just keeping your invite super simple. And I remember when I first started, and it's going to be that way. Like if you're a new coach, like you're going to have the uncomfortable, like awkward invites that are like 90 paragraph essays, and it's just too much. And then as you become confident in sharing about it, because again, like you have to build that confidence and like just be so invested in what you're doing and how much it's changing your life, that it's literally a gift to offer people. And whether or not they accept that gift is up to them. And the way that I have always liked to explain it to my new coaches, to take the pressure off, because we're so scared. We're so fearful of inviting and putting ourselves out there and getting that rejection. And it's like telling somebody to go eat at a restaurant that you ate at, or to go watch a movie that you watch. Like when you have an incredible experience, the first thing you want to do is share it. You know, you want to share that with someone else. You want to be like, hey, like go do this. It was amazing. So if you told someone like, I went to this restaurant, amazing food, excellent service, and you're like, go eat there, and they didn't go eat there, are you going to be offended and sad and go cry in a corner? No, you're just gonna be like, well, I went there and it was bomb and I'm probably going to go again. Like, or if you saw a good movie and you told someone to watch it, if they don't watch it, you're not going to be offended by it. You're just okay. And so same thing with you're inviting to a challenge group. And when people say no, it has nothing to do with you. Rejection in life has nothing to do with you. Like it literally is, they're not ready. They don't know what it is. They haven't watched you long enough. Like who knows what it is, but it's not your job to know. And it's not your job to worry about and fear it. Your job is to extend the invite. This is something that is changing your life and impacting your life in a positive way, however it is. And you're just sharing that with other people. Yeah. That's literally it.
It's, and like, I love like the analogy of like, if you were throwing a party at your house on Friday, like this coming Friday, you're going to have a party, right? Like you wouldn't be like worried that you're bugging somebody by inviting them to a party you're throwing. Like the thing I would worry about is that I forgot to extend an invitation to somebody, and then they see that I'm throwing this party and they're like, why didn't Celine invite me? Like I thought, you know, we were friends. So if they don't show up to the party that you're throwing at your house on Friday, like, are you going to be like upset with them? Like, I can't, or be like, man, like, I can't believe I invited that person to the party and they like didn't show up. Like, fuck them. It's like, no, you would be like, it's like, hey, like I throw a party once a month and I'd love it if, you know, I want to just let you know that we'd love to have you. And it's BYOCP, bring your own challenge pack.
I love that. Oh my God. That's like a good little, oh my God. That's a good little marketing.
Like I'm throwing a party, BYOCP. If you can make it, cool. If you can't, cool. But if you can't make it, no worries. I'm throwing a BYOCP party every month, and you're always invited whenever you're ready to show up. And
I literally think that's going to be the next way that I invite on my Instagram stories. Like I'm literally going to explain it and be like, bring your own challenge pack.
Yeah. If they don't make it, we don't, it's not like you take it personal. You just are like, hey, no worries. Like I'll be throwing these parties all the time. So, and then I think people like respect that. They don't like, they look at you and they go, man, like they're not upset that I didn't do it. They're not upset that I said no this time. Like they were super cool about it. And like, they're going to continue watching you and they're going to be like, oh, wow, like this person's still throwing these BYOCP parties. Like maybe it's time for me to show up to one of these next month.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing too, is not coming off like you want the Success Club points or you want the commission or whatever. Like you're not desperate for them. Like you're there when they are ready. And then, yeah, just keeping your inviting really simple. And again, it's important to show up on social media and in your stories and in your feed or whatever, in explaining what your challenge group is and publicly inviting. That way they're seeing it. And then when you're doing that, like, not only do they already know what you're talking about when you do go into their inbox, but a lot of the times, like, people are intimidated to reach out, or, you know, if they don't know you and they've just like followed you and peek your stories every single day, but they don't know you in real life, like, sometimes they're intimidated to reach out, or they're, you know, like, shy. And so when you go into their inbox and you're like, hey, like, whatever, and you invite them to your group or whatever the new program that you're doing, it makes it more comfortable for them. And a lot of people are like, I've been meaning to reach out to you for a while, or I've wanted to reach out to you, and, you know, but whatever, and I haven't, or whatever it is. And so, like, it's your job to reach out. Like, obviously it'd be ideal and amazing if people were just crawling into our inboxes, but they're not all the time. Like, some people that have watched you long enough and have questions might, but you going into their inbox that's your job, and inviting them. And just keep it simple. Like, I'm starting this new program, putting together a group for those that want to do it together. Would you be interested in the details? That's it. Then if they say yes, you go into the details. You don't have to be like, this is the program, this is how it goes, this is how many days, how many weeks. That's too much for someone who has no idea what's going on. So just let them know that you're doing something new. I'm going to start this new workout nutrition program, going to put a group together for a bunch of us to do it. Are you interested in the details? And then let them say yes or no, or whatever it is. And just keep sharing details in your stories and on your feed and in your posting, because then they get to hear it there too.
Yeah, same with if you're throwing a party like at your house on Friday, you would have like the same kind of mentality towards it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And then what about like along the lines of like that third skill of like inviting is also like follow-ups to the invites. Is like, I mean, you can't just expect to invite and not follow up. Like 99% of people aren't gonna show up to the party from like one invitation. So what's your kind of like, what have you found like works best for you as far as like trying to keep track of somebody that has kind of maybe showed interest but wasn't ready like this month, but maybe down the line? And I'm assuming like most of your challengers are people that you've invited like multiple times before they
find. Yeah. There's people that, I mean, 4 years later, I'll like reach out to them again and then they're finally ready. So you're just supposed to be there when they're ready, which is where the consistency comes in. But so for following up, obviously there's a ton of different ways to do this, because there's like the initial invite that maybe got ghosted, or you started to talk a little bit and then the conversation fell off. Maybe there's like a re-invite type of follow-up where it's like the next month and you're trying to check back in. Like with everything else, just keep it simple. If I invite someone for the first time and they don't answer, like I get ghosted or whatever, I'm not taking it personally. I'm not upset. I'm not sad. Like, I'm just like, okay, they either opened my message and got distracted with their kid or their dog or their whatever. Like, I'm never thinking like I'm annoying you. I'm thinking like, I'm posting like a boss. You show up to my stories every single day because you actually give a shit what I have to say. Because most of the time, like if I'm inviting, following up or whatever, I'm in my stories. Like I literally swipe up on my stories, and that's where I'm not the super organized person with the Asana or the Excel sheet that has everybody's name down and this is when I'm going to connect it. But I'm not organized. That's not my forte. Like that's not my strong suit. I'm in my stories or on my likers, and that's where I'm hitting people. And when I go to their thread, I see, okay, they need a follow up, they need a re-invite, whatever it is. And so if these people are watching you every single day, like, why do you think they're there? They're there for a reason. They're there to see what you're posting, and they're invested in your journey and whatever you're sharing. And so when I go to like follow up with them, I'm not like, oh, they never want to hear from me. Like, no, I just think something happened. Like they got distracted or whatever it is. Like, and so unless somebody tells me like, I don't want anything to do with it, stop. Like, I don't think that I'm bothering them, like Pat said before. And so when I invite somebody and they don't respond, that initial follow-up is just like, hey, I wanted to check back in with you and see if you saw my previous message. No worries if you're not interested. I just wanted to make sure. Like something super duper simple. Like just wanted to check in and see if you saw my previous message. Done.
Yeah.
And if we're like talking a little bit,
I use that same thing. I use that exact same thing. I always say like, hey, like even it says seen, so I know they saw it, but I just say like, hey, I just want to make sure you saw my last message. And
yeah, did you get a chance to read my previous message and put any more thought into it? Like simple.
Yeah, and then they, then they respond usually from that one. Um, but yeah, a lot of times people like look at their messages while they're like in line at the grocery store or something, and they just, they didn't have a chance to respond or whatever. Like the kid starts crying or something, and they just forget to even respond, or they were in a weird mood the day they looked at it, and so they weren't interested. But then you follow up the next day, and all of a sudden, like now they're in a different mood and they're more interested. It's funny how that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, that too. And so then there's like, if we're in the middle of a conversation, like someone says yeah, and I'm like, okay, like there's the challenge group, and they're like, okay, and I'm like, what are your goals? We're talking about, whatever, in between, and then it's kind of like, that's it. I just send them, hey girlfriend, just wanted to see if you wanted to continue chatting. Just want to see if you want to continue chatting about it or whatever it is. And that's it. Just so simple. Like, I'm still here. Like, did you want to, like, I know things come up. Like, did you want to continue talking about it, whatever. And then invites, just super simple. Like, I know in a lot of the times, like when you're re-inviting, they said no for whatever reason. Like, I just have a busy month. I don't have the money this month or whatever it is. And so the next time that I invite them, and this is so important, I'm going to throw it in there just for like quality conversation. Read your thread. Don't script people. Don't send them this generic follow-up, this generic whatever, because like it sounds, read it. Like read the thread, know where you were talking to this person, and treat each message like it's personal. Like, yeah, it's going to take you a little bit longer, and maybe you're not going to bust out 80 follow-ups, and like that's okay, like quality over quantity. And so read the conversation, because a lot of the times I'll look at my coach's conversations, to give like positive feedback and constructive criticism, and I'm like, if you were on the receiving end of this, like would you feel like this was a personal message to you? And so you want to make it the same way. And like, obviously when you find your invite for the month, like, copy paste that, because it's very generic anyway. But when you're re-inviting somebody or you're following up with someone that you had a conversation with, you kind of got to make it personal to what you guys were talking about. It can't just be this left field message. And so when I'm re-inviting, I'll be like, hey, Cassie, I know you were interested last month, but it wasn't the right time, or you had a lot going on, or you were moving. So I just wanted to check back and see if now's a better time for you. Or I know, you had a lot of bills last month and it wasn't something that was in your budget. I would just want to check back and see if now is a good time for you. We're going to start on July, whatever. And it's very easy breezy. It's like the ball's in your court. Just let me know, like, is now a better time for you? Like, I always put the question so I can get like a response instead of like the let me know. Like I used to do like the whole let me know if now's a better time for you, but then they're, they might not let you know. So if I can say, is now a better time for you? And they're like, no, I still got like a lot of unpacking to do and I just don't have like my stuff situated. I can be like, all right, cool. Like, I'll make sure I follow up next month. And I always say that. I always let them know, like, I'll make sure I check back in with you, because then you don't feel annoying when you're following up. They knew you were coming back. Like you said, I'll check back in with you. And to throw this out there too, like when you think that your follow-ups and your re-invites, your 97th re-invite is annoying, it's not. Because when those people who take forever to join finally join, they literally always usually say something like, thanks for never giving up on me, or thanks for continuing to check in with me. Like they're like happy about that because you actually care. You actually give a shit about them. So yeah, those are like my different like follow-ups, and just keep them all simple, easy breezy.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll say like something like, no worries. If they say like, money or they don't have time right now, I'll say like, yeah, no worries. Would you want me to follow up with you, next month to see if you're ready? And so sometimes I'll ask that question, or I'll say like what you do is just say like, you just basically just tell them, yeah, all right, no worries. I'll follow up with you next month. I kind of go back and forth between just saying that, or sometimes just like saying, hey, is it cool if I follow up with you, next month to see if you might be ready? And a lot of times they're like, yeah, sure, cool, that'd be great. And then they know it's coming. So I think, then so the first skill, be on your journey and kind of sharing that journey and re-falling in love with your journey. Skill 2, connecting with like-minded people and reconnecting with old friends. 3, we just hit, is invites and follow-ups, that BYOCP. And then the 4th one is giving those people that like said yes, giving them an amazing experience. Like making sure they have a good experience. If they do show up to the party, like, you know, don't just let them stand in a corner by themselves, you know, like, you know, make sure they're having a good time. And that's kind of that fourth skill. But real quick on that third skill, invites, you know, Celine said that when she invites, she just says like, hey, would you want more details? You know, like super, like short. It's not this giant description in the invitation initially. And that's the same thing you would do like if you're throwing a party at your place this weekend. You would say like, you wouldn't send the person a giant list of like everything that's gonna, like all the food that you're gonna have. It's just like, yo, I'm having a little get together on Friday if you can make it. And if they say yes, then you can give them like the address and the details of what time it starts and all that kind of stuff. But just, you know, start with just that simple invitation. All right, cool. So let's jump into that fourth of, you know, making sure they have a good experience.
Okay, yeah, my bad. The maintenance guy came to change my filter, and I like was like, bye. So the fourth skill is giving an amazing experience. So kind of like where I left off with like the follow-ups, people want to know that you care, and so your job when they sign up, it doesn't end there. Like it doesn't end with the Success Club points. It doesn't end with your commission. Like that's where your job begins because this person trusted you, and now it's your job to give them an amazing experience and to show up. I do want to say that it's not your job to drag people. It's not your job to like force them because some people, and this happens, like people sign up and literally go off the face of the planet and never talk to you again. There's people that sign up and they'll do good for a week and then they fall off. And there's only so much that you can do because a lot of the times we think that it's like a reflection of us and us as coaches, especially when you're new and you don't have that confidence yet and someone like joins and then they don't find the success that you found or they fall off or whatever it is. It's like you think that there's something that you did and it's not. Like as long as you know that you're showing up and you're getting them started and you're showing up in your group and you're doing all that you possibly can, then it's not on you, it's on them. And so that's something to like not to take personal because that could be very draining and it can be very discouraging in as like a new coach, and it makes you, you know, not want to continue. It's like one of those things that people think, oh, I failed, and then they don't continue building the business. And so I just want to throw that out there. But to make sure that you're giving an amazing experience, you don't have to do all the fancy things. Keep it very simple. Like you don't have to have this like incredible, like beautiful graphic, like welcome email type thing. Just keep it very simple. Like send them an email to welcome them to your group or send them a text message or something personalized. Like, you know, this is going to walk you through like getting started. So it could just, email is just like the easiest thing. Like you can create a template on like Google Forms or whatever. That way you always have it. And you can just copy and paste it to everyone that signs up. There's plenty of these within the files of all of our teams, you know, like a sample welcome email, but it's basically just like getting them excited. Like, yay, I'm so excited that you're starting this journey. And then kind of like walking through them, like walk through steps to get started. Like letting them know what they're going to get with their challenge pack, walking them through how to navigate Beachbody On Demand, helping them pick a program. If you help them with building a meal plan, you can have sample and template meal plans to give to them just to get them started on the right foot. Like you want them to have all the tools and resources and knowing how to use all the tools and resources. So something that I do since the beginning that my coach did, and I kind of just like took that, was doing like one-on-one calls. And you can keep them very like short. You can keep them like 15 minutes long just to be personal, to like get to know someone, especially if there's someone that you with over like Instagram or something that you don't actually know one-on-one, like giving them that 10 or 15 minutes of your time to connect with who you are, like, and to get to like know each other on a more personal level, like one-on-one. And then just getting them excited, getting them hyped, asking them like, what are your goals? Like, what are you most excited for? What are you scared of the most? And then just kind of talking to them. And that like gets them fired up and more excited and eager to start. And so if they're getting started right, they're going to go into it right. And they're going to like go into it excited, and they're going to want to get past that first week and that second week. And then giving them like a clear program to get started with. A lot of the times I like to keep it really simple. It was always 21-day fix that I would recommend people to start with. Now that we have MBF, it's kind of the same as like 21-day fix, where you have the 3 weeks and then you have like the 3 weeks advance to kind of step it up. So MBF is the same way. Like it's 21 days long, 3 weeks long, and then you have the opportunity to advance and go up to the next level. And so I like to give people something short to start with, because 3 weeks is so doable. If I start somebody with 80-day obsession or, 9-week control freak or whatever it is. It's just a longer stretch. And when you start somebody with like 21 Day Fix, 3 weeks, like gives them that confidence. Like, I can do this. It sets the foundation. It's like, okay, like this is doable and I'm going to go on to the next. It gives them that first win, and they're like, okay, I'm going to go to the next program. And that feels so good when you complete a program. So they're going to want to do the next one, but trying to make it through 80 days it's a stretch, So getting them started with their program, 21 Day Fix, MBF, whatever it is, helping them choose which meal plan is going to work for them, whether it's 2B Mindset, Ultimate Portion Fix. I personally love the Portion Fix. It's what I used to. It's what I've gotten results with. And so that's what I'm most comfortable with. And I explain the container system and how to use it and everything like that for my new challengers. And so just getting them comfortable, like I said, with Beachbody On Demand, knowing what program they're doing, meal plans and everything like that, and then checking in with them. Actually, obviously you want to check in like before they start. How was your day one? Always on day one, like how was your day one? Like hype them up. At the end of the week, like how did the first week go? Like what did you do great with? Like that. Like one-on-one check-ins are personal. That could be very draining too. I had to find boundaries within the check-ins because I would try to check in with everybody like every day, and I had like little alerts on my phone with how often people wanted me to check in with them, but that was too much for me. Like it was exhausting my energy, and I couldn't message that many people every other day and then respond and, mentor and inspire, all of that going on. And like, pick your day. Maybe you want to do like check-ins on Wednesday and Sunday, or, have a certain group that you check in with on this day, but just try to do those one-on-one check-ins. It could even be a quick voice message, like something super simple, like let me know how your week was, blah, blah, whatever. Just that it's personal. And then within your group, this is the most important, because you can't expect your challengers to do what they don't see you doing. Like they joined you, they watch you on social media, they accepted your invitation, they chose you to sign up with, and so they're going to watch what you're doing. And so if you're not showing up in your challenge group with your workout every single day, if you're not logging in your nutrition, if you're not sharing recipes, if you're not sharing positivity, they're probably not going to be doing that either, unless you have like a unicorn. But they're going to do what they see you doing and think that they're going to do like half of what they see you doing. So you need to be doing all of it and going all in. And so your challenge groups don't have to be crazy. Like just have, a post every single day, something that goes up, something for them to like comment on, something with accountability. You could share a recipe that day and ask everybody to share their favorite recipe. You can ask people to like, you could talk about like gratitude and ask people to drop things that they're grateful for. Just like something every single day. Like you want to have like a post going up in there. But most of all, more than anything, especially if you're in the bod groups, just share your workout. And when you share your workout, don't just log it in, like share how your workout was, how your morning was, whatever it is, whatever time of day you're logging in your workout, just share about your day, share about what went great that day, because you're going to give like other people, they're going to want to do that too. And like, if you want them to share their selfie and actually like explain like what was good in your workout or how was your day or whatever, then you have to be doing that too. You have to set the expectation for your group. And so if you want to be full of engagement and you want people showing up, like you have to make sure that you're doing that too. And give it time. If you only have like 2 challengers 1 month, and then the next month you sign like 3 more, and the next month you sign like 3 more, that's going to grow your group. But give it time, because it takes time to grow your group.
For that, give the amazing experience, I kind of found that like that became like the foundation of my business. When I really like adopted these 21 day fix, because it was like a simple 3-week thing, and I was like kind of doing my invites throughout the month and running a challenge group each month, and really like getting into the challenge group and being a challenger myself. And number one, it like kept me in a better place. Like I was showing up as a challenger, I was doing my workouts, I was reading personal development, I was inviting my challengers to do personal development. I think a lot of coaches don't do that, but man, that's a game changer to help your new challengers to kind of start doing 10 minutes of personal development was huge. And the more I started to kind of fall in love with the experience I was giving people, then invites became easier. And I think that people are smart and they can tell the difference between someone who's just inviting to make $50 and to get successful points versus someone who really is going to roll up their sleeves and go to work once that person does pull out their credit card. That's when the coach really starts to go to work. I think that shined through like in my conversation and invite. So people knew they weren't just buying a challenge pack. They were buying me and the experience that I was going to be right alongside them for. And the better the experience they had, the more likely they were to refer friends, the more likely they were to want to become a coach. And when they did become a coach, they were a better coach because they tended to give the same experience to their people that I gave to them. So I kind of found that the experience, like falling in love with the experience you're giving your clients is really kind of becomes the foundation of the business. And, you know, going back to the mindset, that big picture mindset is we don't want to just help people get a cool 21-day before and after photo. Like we want to help people create a sustainable lifestyle that they're going to be able to hold on to for, you know, the rest of their life. And if we do that, you know, some of them are going to start to become coaches because it's just naturally part of the shift they're making in their lifestyle. They're going to want to, people are going to notice, and they're going to want to maybe help other people make those same shifts. So yeah, I kind of found that to be, you know, the foundation of my business. When I'm doing that, it makes a huge difference. When I'm not, it makes a difference in the other direction. So yeah, then, you know, once you do like kind of have that mindset of, hey, I'm trying to help people create a long-term sustainable lifestyle, I'm not just trying to sell them something that they can get a quick 21-day before and after photo. Like I'm trying to create something long-term here and give them that experience and start to get personal development in there. You know, then some of those people you're going to look at and be like, man, this person would be a great coach. So that's kind of that fifth and final skill really, is then to invite people to take a look at coaching. So how do you kind of, what's your kind of strategy for that?
Yeah. So it's so funny because like in 4 years I've recruited coaches, I guess, like in different ways. And the best coaches are the ones that have an amazing experience in your challenge group. And the reason why is because sometimes you will get those people that are really interested in like, what do you do to earn an income? Or what are you doing that you know, work from home? And, you know, what is this coaching thing? And they get started and, you know, obviously you walk them through the challenge group anyway, because that's where you have to start. And it goes great. And people do like fall in love with the programs, they fall in love with the products, and then they take off. But a lot of the times, it's usually people who have no idea that they even want to coach, but they come in, they fall in love with the programs, they fall in love with Shakeology, they fall in love with the way that they're starting to feel, the community and everything. And they're like, why not make an income and do this too? Like that is exactly what I thought when I was in my group. Like I didn't expect my life to change. Like I didn't expect that I was going to have a complete like 180. And I fell in love with like waking up early and actually like working out and eating healthier. And I felt myself changing and becoming more happy and more positive. And so I was going to continue doing those things anyway. I was going to do another program. I was going to continue drinking Shakeology. I was going to continue all the healthy habits that I had started that were making me feel better. And I thought like, you know, my coach has got to be making money doing this. Like, you know, why not do it too? And so when she invited me, it was like a no-brainer. So same thing for your challengers, and that's why it's so important to give them an amazing experience and help them get results, because when they get results they're excited and they want to keep going. And it's like, hey, like, you know that you could become a coach and do exactly what I'm doing, right? And would it be any different than what you're already doing, except you're going to share a little bit on social media and you're going to invite other people to join you, and you give them the confidence to go after that. Like you hype them up, like, no, you're literally killing it. You've had an incredible transformation. You show up every single day in the group. You're such an inspiration to myself and everyone in there. Like, why not take it to social media and inspire other people? And a lot of the times you have to give them that experience, because people always think like, why me, or who am I to? And you have to like give them that confidence and hype them up to let them know, like, this is all we do. Like, we don't do anything special. Like, I literally just fell in love with the journey and I started sharing it with other people, and other people got inspired, and that's how you got in here. And now you're going to go do that for other people. It's just this like ripple effect. And more often than not, they're interested in at least taking a look at it. And when they get started, it's the same thing as a challenge group. You just kind of walk them through the basics of coaching, everything that we're covering right here. And it's just, again, another ripple effect. So your challenge group is kind of grooming your lifer coaches, the ones that are going to continue doing programs, the ones that are going to continue to develop these healthy habits and then want to share that and give that away. And my biggest way to like explain that is any positive change like that you make in your life does not end with you. Like you literally affect every single person around you, the people that you work with, your family members, your spouse. Like when you become better and you're happier and you're healthier, that energy just like touches every single person, whether you realize it or not. Like it does. You show up different to people, you speak differently to people, your entire just being is different. And so, you know, you're able to create a bigger ripple effect when you're inviting other people like to be a part of this with you. And again, like those coaches that come out of challenge groups are the most fun too, because they're just as excited as you are. And, you know, in however many years that you're coaching, even a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, you kind of lose sight of the beginning because it's so habitual to you now that this is just your lifestyle. This is what you do. And when you get those like really incredible challengers that turn into good coaches, you like live vicariously through them and get to experience the beginning all over again and over again and over again, like through them. And it just lights your passion up even more because you're like, damn, yeah, that was me. And that's why I started. And this is why I do it, because of the way that it just affects everybody else.
Yeah. My first like four years as a coach, like I didn't really have any success to speak of, but I never like quit because I was a customer at heart first. You know, I had bought P90X like from an infomercial well before I knew there was a business coaching opportunity. Yeah. And if I didn't have that belief in, you know, in the lifestyle, then I don't know if I would have stuck around those first like 4 years when I wasn't really seeing the success that I would have liked. But I'm glad that I had that foundation of the lifestyle because, you know, that 5th year and then beyond, like obviously like things just took off. And I think that foundation is what kept me around to see that. And I just don't think coaches are going to stick around long enough to see the real success if they don't have that foundation. All right. I just wanted to show this real quick because I know like Danielle Ream is going to be doing like a business activity tracker group. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but basically to get the digital version of the business activity tracker, you just go to training and you click on Success Club system. And so the Success Club system activity tracker, also known as the business activity tracker or the BAT.
It's kind of like pushed to the left. Like it's not centered on your screen.
Let's see.
Like you could see LUB system activity tracker.
Okay. Can you see these tabs right here? The 4 tabs?
Yeah, you can see those. Yeah.
Okay. So these tabs are basically like for you guys that have done the business activity tracker on paper, like the same boxes are right here on these little tabs. And you can set little timers right here where you can, you know, set yourself a 10-minute timer. I always work a lot better when I have like a timer. It keeps me more focused. So you can set like a custom timer to like for each task or do like a 50-minute like power hour. These 2 tabs on the ends, do personal development and be proof the products work. I think they should just be 1 tab. I think this is like the foundation of like who we are as just for people that, you know, want to work out. We want to drink Shakeology. We want to do our personal development, right? Like those are just what challengers do. And that's like who we are. And then these 2 middle tabs are like kind of the 5, you know, skills we just touched on. So connect, invite, follow up. You know, this would be like sharing on social media, connecting with people, invites and follow-ups. You know, that's all these 6 boxes right here. And then get people results. This would kind of be like that 4th skill of like giving people an amazing experience and inviting people to take a look at coaching, that 4th and 5th skill. So skills 1, 2, and 3 are in that tab, and then skills 4 and 5 are in that tab. So, you know, I think we said at the beginning of the call, when you have like a new coach understands like, hey, these are the 5 skills I want to work on, and I don't need to look around like I'm missing something, they can take a deep breath and feel more focused. And having this, you know, digital tracker that has everything, little boxes you check off as you go, makes it even simpler. But Celine, what's going on? Do you know like when that group starts and kind of like what it might look like?
So it's not super structured yet. She had just mentioned like mid-July, and she was trying to see like which of us wanted to like lead it together. And I had always stuck with like the paper Success Club tracker, which it is. I looked into it like yesterday, and it's literally the same thing like you were just showing. And it could be like I'm actually impressed. Like I'm super impressed with how they have it organized and how they have it where you could like it puts it into the follow-ups and stuff like that. So I haven't like used it and like physically used it like long enough to see how like I like it and how it works for me like long term. But it looks like it could be, especially if you're an organized person in it and like you like, you know, everything in specific areas, it looks very effective. So I'm not really sure how exactly she's going to structure it yet or when exactly it starts. I just know like mid-July, and I know she'll like share in the groups and stuff when we're going to start it.
Cool. Yeah. So training Success Club system, and then you click on the tracker. And the other thing I think is really cool is on the left-hand side, there's a tab here that says training/support. So basically any one of these little activities that has a box, they have a training video for. So like the first tab, there's 3 boxes, right? There's a training video for each of them. The next tab, there's a training video for each of those activities. So I think it's cool that we have our own like videos we've made for our coaches, but for new coaches to be able to just take a look at, hey, like what is this one activity I'm not really good at? I'm not really good at getting started with inviting. Let me take a look at that training video. I'm not really good at building connections. Let me take a look at building connections and starting conversations on social media. Like inviting in the 3 most common situations, how to answer common questions, how to identify your target market, creating curiosity in your social media posts. There's a training video from some of the best coaches in the whole network for each activity, which is just like,
I was just going to ask if those are like top coaches and like whatever that are in those videos. I didn't even look at that. And that is, I mean, you literally have an entire coach training right there. Like simple.
Yeah. How to send a share a card. And they ask some of the coaches that are having the most success in their business, some of the top coaches to make little videos for each of these. So honestly, like a coach could come in to this business with 0 mentorship from their upline, follow the business activity tracker and just kind of watch these trainings, and they can start to have some traction.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. Even some videos on time management and personal development. So good stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing, groups that are implementing the digital tracker and using some of those training videos, because I think I'll love it too, to be right alongside watching some of those videos just as like refreshers or like, new insights. So good stuff, Celine. This was great. Keeping it simple, crushing the skills, touching on the mindset. I don't know if anyone's going to have questions like during the recording, but if you guys do, you can, just reach out to Celine. I'm sure she'll hook you up with whatever you need. Or you can comment on the thread and we'll all hook you up. Good stuff. Anything else I missed?
I don't think so. No.
Cool. All right. Good shit. Thanks, Celine. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me. See y'all later.
See ya.